Hi, this is Roger Peterson. In this video, I'm going to talk about the capital gains tax that has recently taken place in Costa Rica. It's causing some confusion, so let's break it down for you. Now, in this video, I'm going to be referring specifically to the effect of the capital gains tax on real estate holdings. So the first good news that we have is that if you have a personal residence in Costa Rica, which is your habitual place where you live, then this property is going to be exempt from any capital gains tax. So that's good news. Now, any other kind of property that you own in Costa Rica, vacation rentals, investment property that you're later going to sell, is going to be subject to a capital gains tax. That tax is 15% on the gain realized. As a way to transition into the capital gains tax world, so to speak, the government has created or allows any property that was purchased prior to July 1st of 2019, which is the date when the capital gains law comes into effect or came into effect, is going to allow you to pay a flat 2.25% on the sales price of the asset that is being sold. Okay? Any property you acquire after July 1st, 2019 is going to be now subject to the regular capital gains tax, which is 15% on the gain realized. Another section of the law that's created a lot of confusion is the fact that the law creates a withholding requirement. So let's discuss a little bit about what's involved in the withholding of this capital gains. So for example, the law states that any person that is non-domiciled in Costa Rica, for example, in a transaction between the seller and the buyer, it is going to be the obligation of the buyer to withhold 2.5% of the sales price of that property to ensure that the capital gains on that property are paid as part of the transaction. So how's this going to work? First off, it's imposing the obligation on the notary public that does the transaction. Remember that in Costa Rica, to sell any property, you need to use a notary public to prepare and draft a deed. So now the obligation is going to be on that notary public to certify that the withholding tax has been withheld and deposited with the Treasury of Costa Rica. So what does the government consider to be non-domiciled? For this, we're referred to Article 5 of the regulations of the income tax law. And Article 5 actually talks about what they consider to be domiciled persons for tax purposes. So now we use this definition in reverse to determine who's a non-domiciled person for the withholding of capital gains. So let's look at that in more detail as follows. To determine the domicile of a person, of a foreigner in Costa Rica, the standard is if they have spent 183 days in Costa Rica, then they are considered to be domiciled. How do they check this? Remember that they have access to the entries and exits that you do into Costa Rica by pulling the immigration records, which will detail your entries and exits into Costa Rica. So that's the way they can verify that. Now, since many persons own their real estate and are entitled to Costa Rican corporations, here the tax law is pretty clear, and it says that any corporation, any entity that is domiciled or has its place of business in Costa Rica will be considered to be domiciled in Costa Rica for tax purposes. So our interpretation of that is that any SA, SRL, any Costa Rican corporation where you've listed the legal domicile to be in Costa Rica, and it is a Costa Rican corporation, is going to be treated as a Costa Rican domiciled entity for tax purposes. Now, keep in mind that this law is just kicked in, so this came into effect just a couple days ago. So we're going to be monitoring the regulation. We will update a video as soon as we have more information as to how this whole capital gains issue is going to be reported, taxed, and collected going forward. But for now, just be aware that there is a capital gains tax, so when purchasing or selling your real estate, you need to take into consideration what the capital gains is going to be when you decide to leave or sell your property in Costa Rica. Some strategic planning now could avoid you some headaches going forward. Thank you for watching this video, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got over 50 videos now on our collection, and head over to CostaRicaLaw.com, where we've got hundreds of articles on every possible topic that you could imagine related to life, living, doing business, investing, or working in Costa Rica.